Afternoon, brothers and sisters. Before we start, I'm only given 15 minutes to finish this. Before I start, I'd like to do something different from what we've done the last few sessions. First of all, I'd like all to be inside, including all the servants outside. All the servants. If there's going to be someone late, she's going to be late. I believe most are here already. We'll ask the waiters to get more chairs for everyone, because this will be a 1 hour and a half talk. So I asked everyone to come here, and I also expect everyone to be still, to keep quiet, and just listen to the talk. It's a very important talk because it involves the family, and that's why we're all here. We want to improve. We want to make our families better. The second thing I want to do, there is an envelope here. For every group, I want the DJLs to collect all the cell phones. Put it inside the cell phone, including the servers. Just find something in the middle of the table, just put the cell phone. Don't worry, nobody's gonna die, nobody's gonna call you, nobody's gonna. All cell phones. That includes my cell phone. Josh has a cell phone. Okay, all cell phones in. Will you text? I hope you text your friends. Now you cannot be contacted for the next 90 minutes. Everybody here? After the talk, I will also ask all the servants to get out of the room. After the talk. So that you will not disturb the participants. I will give 2 discussion starters. 1 discussion starter for the participants and another discussion starter for the servants. We can discuss it at the back, but not inside, so that you will not disturb the participants. Is that okay? Okay. So now is the time to just listen. Good afternoon once again. Good afternoon. We are Team Ugalino. I am Sander Ugalino. This is and that is Josh, my son. We are both doctors by profession. Josh is a grade 10 student at Park Springdale School for Boys. So we're good? Yes. Please have a seat. God is in the room. Who believes this one? God is in the room. Is correct? Yes. The problem is that we tend to forget that God is in the room. Every room where you go, wherever you go, God is in the room. The problem is we tend to forget, and we act as if we do not know that God is in the room. So what happens is that if God is not in the room, definitely God is not in your family. God's not in your marriage. And how can you transform that marriage if God is not with you? We know it, but we tend not to know it, or we forget, unless we just put God as a system of beliefs lang sa lahat. At lang siya i-relegate as narala sa lahat. But we don't necessarily think God is in the center of our marriage. So this afternoon, our role is to transform families, marriages, to put God in the center of that marriage. There are 3 highlights to this talk. The first is the importance of marriage and the need to build strong Christian families. Second, to strengthen relationship between spouses. And lastly, as parents, we will discuss the God-given responsibility we have to train and teach our children. As the next 90 minutes will go, remember, God is in the room. Away mo sa iyong asawa, before ka mag-asawa niya, God is in the room. Whatever you say to your wife, God will do it. Kung mag-away mo, maglalis mo, magsabot mo daan, you decide on what to do, always remember, God is in the room. Okay? I now give the phone to the microphone.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Sis Mai.
Your family?
Yeah, I'm Sis Mai. Sorry for the interruption of my voice. I'm Sis Mai Ogarino. We are BCMR 25, CLP 27, so we have been in the community for turning 12 years. So we started early in our marriage. Our family, we praise and thank the Lord today for giving us the grace to be here in front of you, to share to you what we have learned about how it is to become a Christian family. We learned this also through the BCBP, through the years that we stayed in this community. And this afternoon, we would like to share it with you. So, my husband assigned to me the first part of our talk, which is submissive wife. So I will follow. Why is marriage important? So the importance of marriage, this sacrament, is anchored in the scriptures. So these 3 verses are the anchor or the strength of why the sacrament of matrimony is really very important. So if it has a scriptural foundation, it is infallible. It is an unblemished truth, no matter what society will say. So the sacrament of matrimony is really very important. Why? Let's read Genesis chapter 2, verse 18 together. The Lord said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a suitable partner for him." Amen. So, since the beginning of time, God already instituted, established marriage since the ancient times. So when God made Adam, He noticed that man needs a companion. That's why He made Eve. And when Adam and Eve were together, the Lord sanctified their union. So it is imperative in this verse that man needs a partner, a companion. So that's the first truth. Man cannot live alone. And the love that is shared by man and woman is the model of the love of Christ towards His people in the church. So that's the first foundation. God, first importance. God is the one who established, instituted, and designed marriage. It is His design. The second, let's read Matthew chapter 9, verses 5 to 6. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother, and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become as one. Thus, they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, let no man separate what God has joined. Okay, so when a man decides or enters into marriage with a wife, society recognizes that they are already joined together. Diba? Acknowledge din na sa society na minion na sila. So they're already one flesh. So it is acknowledged by the society. And this man and woman, they detach themselves from their family of origin so that they can establish their own family with their own practices, their own habits, their own norms, traditions. Maybe they make their own brand or tatak, anak ng pamilya. So the second importance is they detach themselves from their family of origin so that they can establish a family of their own, which is unique from their family of origin. And because it is sacred, it is binded in the church, it is intended to be lifelong. So dili siya uso-uso or nanagana. Lifelong, and it can carry through time and seasons of their married life. Because it is strengthened by the sacrament, by the blessing of Christ, na siya'y seal of His love, the sacrament of matrimony, this seal from the Lord is the thing that separates it from civil marriage. Civil marriage, there is union, physical, emotional, legal union, but there is no spiritual union. So if there is no spiritual union, we cannot expect that marriage to be carried through the times and seasons of their lives. This should be done. And it is when we enter into the sacrament of marriage, when we receive the sacrament of matrimony in church, we make a covenant. We enter into a covenant with the Lord. Muna siya ang nakaseparate sa civil o sa sakramento na itong dawaton. In the sacrament, we welcome the Lord to be part of our married life. And when we allow the Lord to come, it's like a covenant. A covenant is an agreement between persons and a supreme being, whom we acknowledge as someone who is powerful, who has the capacity to make that agreement or covenant go through until it is fulfilled. So, ang sacrament of marriage, we enter into a covenant with the Lord. We acknowledge His presence in our family, in our marriage, and we believe that He is the one who will carry us through the time and seasons of our life. So God is in the room. Amen? Amen. So that's the second. The third is, let's read Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. God blessed them, saying, be fertile and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. So the third importance is procreation. Of course, no? Be fertile and multiply. So only a man in his distinctiveness and a woman in her own distinctiveness can form a complete union and fulfill this vision. No one else. Only a man and a woman, no matter what society says. So those are the three scriptural bases of why marriage is important.
So now we proceed to the relationship of the husband and wife. But there are three topics: the importance of marriage, the relationship of spouses, the third will be parenthood. So husband and wife. Let's all read together Ephesians chapter 5, 21 to 28. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Wives should be submissive to their husbands, as to the Lord. Because the husband is the head of his wife, just as Christ is the head of his body, the church. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loves the church. He gave himself up for her. Husbands should love their wives as they do their own wives. What word here strikes you the most? Submissive. Ako ito mga lalaki. Brother Efren, you agree? You agree? Wives should be submissive to the husband. But for me, the most striking word there is Out of reverence for Christ. The very first sentence. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. What does reverence mean? Respect. Deep respect. Great respect. So you submit not because he's the boss we're under, but because of great respect. The church does not want a subjection of the wife to the husband's dictates. Rather, her teachings that there must be a subordination in love. Makainon ka ba nga subordinate pero in love? Is that even possible? This is coming from the Christian morals of laity. Don't ask me who wrote it. Don't ask me where you can buy it. It's just in your handouts. You can leave the handouts, read it later. But there's even a big, later on, if you read the whole thing, it will even say mutual subordination. Firmly established in the Lord, the unity of marriage will radiate from the equal personal dignity of wife and husband, a dignity that is acknowledged by equal and total love. St. Paul in 1 Corinthians 7:4 says, "For the wife does not rule over her own body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not rule over his own body, but the wife does." Yes, we want the wives to be submissive to the husband. But when you ask your wives to be submissive to you, there are also responsibilities that come to it. The wife is the equal important partner of the husband. And the family will never work without the wife. Both the head and the body must work together. It's not his way, it's not her way. It's God's.
Okay, so the last verse that we were talking about is when God said, "Go and procreate." Yes? God said, so when God go and multiply. Yeah. So when God said, go and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, He is mandating all married couples to build a family. Agree? Yes? Go and multiply. So procreate, make your offspring, make a family. So we can say that the family is God's most beautiful of all His creations. You agree also? Yes. Okay. So that is part of God's plan for our family. We retain the beauty of our individual families. Why? Because the Lord has instilled it to become the first and the vital cell or unit of the society. Our family is reflective of the society where it belongs. Okay, so even the spouses, we are witnesses of our faith to our spouse. Me, I'm a witness of my faith to my husband. I am also a witness of my faith to my son, to my household, to my neighbors. So how I conduct myself, that is already my witnessing to my family members, to my household, and to our neighbors. So when families live a Christian way of life, and we are being faithful to the Gospels, that is already our apostolate to the society. So we are fulfilling God's plan for our families. Second, parents, we have the duty to teach and train our children. So parents should be the first to communicate faith to our children. Not the teachers, not the ninangs and ninos. Of course, they play a role, but we should be the first, and no one else, to communicate faith to our children. We We should be the first to teach them by word or example the Christian way of life. And we are also responsible for their Christian upbringing and prepare them to be of service to God's kingdom and to humanity when they grow up. So this is the second plan for God in our family. The third is so that our family will also become a domestic church. A church is a place where we can hear prayers, right? We are nourished spiritually. And we see people who have mutual love or affection. Or there's like a peaceful or harmonious relationship among each other. So that's a characteristic of a church. So God also wants our families to be a domestic church. Little churches within a big church or within a community. So God plans our family to be a place where prayers are heard. There will be spiritual nourishment as well in our family. And there will be people living together in mutual affection, harmonious and peaceful relationship. So that is the plan of a Christian family because, as we said, the condition of individual families will determine the condition of the society as a whole. So if this is the family, which is the vital cell of the society, imagine if all families will be like that. Imagine a society like you after this CLB, when you go home, and then you start transforming your family beginning today. Then your neighbors will see the difference. Then they will also be transformed. Imagine a society like that. So that is God's plan for the family. Pope Francis made a very good exhortation about that, and he said that the most beautiful thing God made, so the Bible tells us, was the family. He created man and woman, and He gave them everything. Fill the earth and subdue it, that's what He said. He entrusted the world to them. Grow, multiply, cultivate the earth, make it bear fruit, let it grow. All the love He put into that marvelous creation, He entrusted to a family. Amen?
So, if God had a plan for the family, why is it that we have many problems? It's a fact that the families right now is under attack. So many problems. Your handouts will put them into classify them into either secular humanism or due to economic pressures. In a very short description, secular humanism is a belief that there is no God. It's not just one thing, but more or less all their beliefs or all their actions will lead you to one belief, that there is no God, that there is no supernatural being that controls you. Right now, divorce is legal in some countries. Abortion, living in is a norm. Even the traditional definition of marriage is under attack. Same-sex marriage, so on and so forth. But God already had a plan. How come it's not working? There are three reasons why it's not working. The first reason, God has lost His central place in the family. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 4, it says, "Fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord." Sadly, parents no longer raise their children according to the discipline and the instruction of the Lord. Most of us rely on psychology. Uban pagani mo rely pa rin sa YouTube University. So, ang ganda niya siya pag YouTube lang ba eh, kapalurot na. We rely on ourselves rather than we lean on our understanding But what is the correct way should always be, di ba? If God is in the center of your marriages, God is central to our families, then we always look to Him first. Away daan before wanto ni Lord. Or wanto ni Lord daan before mag-away. Kabalo na ko brother nga mag-away na rin. Of course, you did something wrong, there's a little tension, don't wait for it to. Go to church, look for a quiet place, go to a prayer room. Lord, why ko kasabot, Lord, please help me understand what's going on. Doesn't have to be right away, but as long as we go to Him first before you actually argue. Right now, families, ang importante is materialism and an easy life. No matter how difficult your lives were growing up, everybody here has her own stories. No matter unsa kalisod inyong kinabuhi pagdako, you don't want that to your children. Sure you don't. The problem is they don't also learn how to survive. They think everything is on a click of an iPad. That everything is really okay. Pag ako lang i-shutdown, i-reset lang ako, okay na. In real life, when they get to trouble, that's where the problem is. Where do they go? They go to their friends, they go to YouTube, they go to Dr. Google, so many other things. Second problem, a second reason. The family itself is losing its importance. Responsibilities have been taken over by other groups. Like what my wife said, the family should be the first teacher in faith. But you cannot teach what you do not know. You cannot share what you do not have. A couple or 3 years ago, a brother told me, I asked a brother, kung anong ni-join man dyan kay BCBP. So bro, I have a 12, 14 or year-old girl. Keeps on asking me, because she goes to a Catholic school, keeps on asking me questions about the subject. So you pick at the one brother. Because you cannot share what you do not have. I'm not saying BCBP is the answer to all of that. The brothers here will have stories to share to you on how to resolve this. Social media. Magbibog na ang bata asa siya. There's less interaction between family members. Yes, everybody is in the living room, but everybody has his own gadgets. The TV is on, there's an iPad, there's even a cell phone. The kid is even on a Bluetooth headset. Where is the interaction in that? The kids are so used to multitasking. Anan sila with the flick of the finger, okay na. Instant gratification. If they don't get it, tantrums and what? What does the parents do? I give in. Oh, sige, yung na ng iPad para mahilom na. So, mommy and daddy can go on with their lives. Correct? Family has become dispensable. O dito na lang ka sa imong mga barkada para at least makakabahoran nila mo. What they learn. In the child goes to the school how many hours? Diba? They spend more time in the school than with you. And when they are with you, what do? You also do your work. And when you are together, there is no interaction. The last problem, the last reason why God's plan is not working, life is too fast. People always on the go. Last night, Brother told us, what is the meaning of busy? So ito nakaten gabi. Busy means? Yeah. Is that? Busy under, being under Satan's yoke. You're too busy. O bitaw namin sa BCBP, but you're too busy. But did you ever wonder ba? If I told you probably, let's say, Kanila Tagana, I told you a month ago, brother, invite on the LP, 2 to 4 p.m. for 13 weeks. What would be your first reply? Busy ka, 13 yun ka book, brother. Grabe sa dasal. Wala tayo upat lang din. How many weeks are you already here? Talk number? 6. Have faith. The Lord will always find a way. All you gotta do is commit and admit that, Lord, take control. That's it. Sa pagway parking, the Lord will find a way. Diba? Wrong priorities. It's mga mga bankers do. Who works in the bank here? Accountants. This is, what you're doing now, it's like an investment. You won't see the results of it. You'll see the results 10 years after. BCBP is a blue chip stock. You'll see the results later. We started BCBP, Josh was like, how old were you? 4 years old. He's now 15. That's my investment. It's priceless. No amount of money can ever replace what BCBP has done. BCBP is not the only charismatic community. But it's the best community in Golden Hills. Okay, so what's the solution? My wife and I were researching, we came across what they call God's face, sacred face. Kanina, Mother Jojo or Paul Bacolod kept saying, be still. Just be still. Mga chita, wala po yung sige na kagpangadji, sige na kagstorya, you have to also listen. So you have to stop, stay in the prayer room, don't even do anything, just sit there, the Lord will just stop. Amen? Amen. The next is, so what can we do?
Okay, so somehow, some, if not all of us, are affected in some ways of those attacks. Our families are experiencing, if not a big part, maybe small snippets of those attacks. Agree? Have you experienced those attacks? Yes, no? So how can we counter these attacks? Because it's there. It's glaring and we cannot just ignore them. So how can we counter? What can we do? So I will tell you two counter weapons, counter strike of those two attacks. First is pray together. Okay, so the last topic I was talking to you about is the family being a domestic church. So we can use that as our first weapon. Pray together as a family. If you have not started praying together as a family, praying before meals is a good way to start it. It's very easy. I'm sure your kids know the bless us, O Lord, and bless thy gifts, which you are about to receive from your goodness, through Christ our Lord. Amen. So start making it a habit to pray before meals as a family, wherever you may be. Not just in the homes, in the restaurants. Make the sign of the cross proudly as a family. So that's already one way of counter-attacking the enemy. Another way is going to church together. If you haven't gone to church as a family, now maybe tomorrow is the birthday of Mama Mary. Make that as a gift to her. Go to church as a family. And don't stay outside the church, please. Please go inside where there are no distractions. Otherwise, you will be an outstanding family. Therefore, the nearer you are to the altar, the more graces you will receive, the lesser the destruction. So first, pray as a family. Mother Teresa said, the family that prays together stays together. And if they stay together, they will love one another. And that's already the witnessing of the love that the Lord has between Him and the church. They love one another as God has loved each one of them. And the works of love are always works of peace. So if we love each other, our family, our household will be peaceful, our relationships will be harmonious. So that's the first. Second weapon to counter the attack, family togetherness. In family, time equals love equals time. So, one ay spelling sa mga bata sa love. T-I-M-E. Prime time. Undivided time. Make time for the people that matters most in our lives. Sometimes you can even say, create time. Because among our so many priorities, sometimes we cannot find time. So we have to create time for these people. Arrange your schedules, put family as the first in our schedule. We'll never know. Ang imong bata, magamay pa, sunod time flies so fast. No? So, togetherness, physical togetherness, undivided connectedness among each other. So that's the second. Pray and spend time or togetherness.
This one I really like. This is the answer to the submissiveness. So the fathers read. Father should be the head of the domestic. So, ngayon gani ang asawa na manimba na ka, ayaw, na nga. Apil na lang ko ng po. Abot sa simbahan, hindi lang ka, okay lang. Pag madungog naman ang pangit, okay lang. You are the head of the church. You lead the prayer. Of course, you allow the kids later on, but it should always start domestic church from that. You are the priest of that church. You lead the prayer. You lead them where their faith should be. You ask your wives to be submissive to you, but that should be complete. You also take care of everything else. You're not just provider. You're not just protector. You're also priest of your church. So you lead them. Don't yung pagbulatan na tanan. The next thing you know, ano yung anak na nasa laing na religion. Let's do it, especially when your kids are still small. Take steps to assume full responsibility. Present God to the family and present your family to God. The last topic we have is about parenting. So first we discussed the importance of marriage. The second is the relationship of spouses. The third one is parenting. Parents should seriously assume full responsibility over their children. The one thing that's very difficult at this age, or at this time, is discipline. We tend to bargain discipline para dili masukwa ang mga bata, dili sila maglisod. Yes, it's painful, but the gains you will get later on are very, very well. The benefits will outweigh that. Yes, at the start, it will feel painful to you because kasapaan, nasakitan ng bata. But you're not doing that to hurt them. But you're doing that actually because you love them. And you know what's best for them. Being parents is a God-given responsibility. You don't just procreate. You are accountable to God to raise, to shape, and prepare our children so that when they grow up, they can contribute to society. Somebody asked me before, so, what do you really want for your kids? What's the end goal for them? You want them to be a doctor? You want them to be an engineer? You want them to be an American Idol or something? I want my kid, whatever he wants to be, his choice, one thing that he loves. I just want him to be God-fearing. I want him to be responsible. I want him to be able to contribute to society. That's it. Whatever form or shape or that is, as long as it's God's will, then thy will be done. Pope Francis said, when families bring children into the world, train them in faith and sound values, and teach them to contribute to society, they become a blessing in our world. Good Christian values. At this point, I'd like to introduce to you our son, Josh Alexander. Like I said, we've been in the BCBP for the 11 going 12 years. So he's been to about 6 national anniversary conventions. This is an action group. So I also started like this. So my kids, they were still 4 years old, sila tanan. Now they're all not yet taller than me. In a few more months they're all very big already. But when we have our reunions, you'll be amazed that these kids are all responsible. No. I'll cut this slide so that he made his own slide. I gave him full responsibility and autonomy to make his slide. Okay, introduce yourself, my son.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hey, hi guys and girls. I'm Josh Ugalino. You can call me Josh. So like my mom said, we've been in the BCBP 11, turning 12 now. I'm so young but so old. So my parents talked about like serious, scary stuff. Let's talk about the benefits. What do you gain when you're part of BCBP? So I have 4 things. The first one, the BCBP, is basically my second family. The second one, they empower you with their wisdom and their knowledge. And the third, we get to make new friends. And of course, you get closer to God. I'm a Christian guy. So first, BCBP is my second family. So like my dad said, it's an investment. You don't really grow close in a snap. So man, I'll show you old pictures so you'll be convinced. That's me. And then now that's me. Diba? That was like 10 years ago. In Baguio. So old, no? So yeah, BCBP Northeast is my second family. If I don't want to talk to my parents, I talk to the teens in Northeast. The second one, they empower you with wisdom and knowledge. Okay, so don't get mad at but like most of you guys are old. But being old comes with wisdom. So 12 years, obviously it's gonna rub off on you. Especially like whenever my parents have action groups, they're like really old. And then, oh no, you're so tall now. Before I remember you're still running around. So I remember one time I was just sitting down to assembly and then the talk was something about prayer and this guy was really wise. Like,